यदा मह्यं वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरौ श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरुं वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणा रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सहगणा ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च नमो ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिन्निति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देश तारिणे नमो महावदन्याय कृष्ण प्रेम प्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्ण चैतन्य नामिने गौरतुषे नमः हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगतपते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. So welcome everyone for today's class. We are discussing 18th chapter. First we'll do sloka recitation. पुरुषः प्रकृतस्थो हि भुङ्क्ते प्रकृतिजान् गुणान् कारणं गुणसङ्गोऽस्य सदसद्यो निजन्मसु उपद्रष्टानुमन्ता च भर्ता भोक्ता महेश्वरः परमात्मेति चाप्युक्तो देहेऽस्मिन् पुरुषः परः मां च यो अभिविचारेण भक्तियोगेन सेवते सगुणान् समतीतेतान् ब्रह्मभूयाय कल्पते ममैवांसो जीवलोके जीवभूता सनातन मनसष्ठानि इन्द्रियाणि प्रकृतिस्थानि कर्षति सर्वस्य चाहं हृदि सन्निविष्टो मत्तः स्मृतिर्ज्ञानमपोहनं च वेदैश्च सर्वैरहमेव वेद्यो वेदान्तकृद्वेदविदेव चाहम् ब्रह्मभूत प्रसन्नात्मा न शोचति न काङ्क्षति समः सर्वेषु भूतेषु मद्भक्तिं लभते पराम् भक्त्या मामभिजानाति यावन्यश्चास्मि तत्त्वतः ततो मां तत्त्वतो ज्ञात्वा विशते तदनन्तरम् मन्मना भव मद्भक्तो मद्याजी मां नमस्कुरु मामे वैस्यसि सत्यं ते प्रतिजाने प्रियोऽसि मे सर्वधर्मान् परित्यज्य मामेकं शरणं व्रज अहं त्वां सर्वपापेभ्यो मोक्षयिष्यामि मा शुच हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. So we are doing 18th chapter and we were doing this section of Varnashrama, duties, the prescribed duties of Varnashrama. And before that we learnt about different items in Satuguna, Rajoguna, Tamoguna, and how a man can be purified if he is in Satuguna, he is a Brahmana. If he is in Rajoguna and Satuguna, he is a Kshatriya. uh, and if he is in, uh, so then in Rajoguna, Satuguna, so Rajoguna is a primary and Satuguna is secondary, that is Kshatriya. And then Rajoguna and Tamoguna. So Rajoguna is primary and Tamoguna is secondary. That is, oh sorry, Ulta. Hmm? That Rajoguna is secondary, Tamoguna is primary. सॉरी, उसका शूद्र का है. सो शूद्र में तमोगुना प्राइमरी है एंड रजोगुना इज सेकेंडरी. फॉर वैश्य व्हाट इज रजोगुना इज प्राइमरी एंड तमोगुना इज सेकेंडरी. ठीक है, ऐसा. सो ऑल दीज फोर varna and ashramas, if they follow their duty, even though there are flaws in the duties, as an example given, that every fire there will be smoke, but one should not change the duty. One should just follow one's duty. So what will happen by following this duty, as we learned previously as well as in Bhagavatam also it's mentioned. So by performing the duty in a mood of free, not attached to the result, not attached to being a doership, then one gains the knowledge. Hmm. So the knowledge is there in the work only, but if you want to take out that knowledge, one has to do that action in certain consciousness. That is a phala kankshi. He does not require phala. Or he is a mukta sangha. Mukta sangha phalam chaiva. He is free from doership as well as enjoyership mentality. If he is doing those activity, then he will become situated in satguna, and then knowledge will become awakened. So even somebody is a Sudra or Vaishya or Brahmana, Kshatriya, all of them can be awakened to knowledge, because without knowledge one cannot practice Vairagya. Hmm? So to Vairagya to sustain, one should have knowledge. Why do we need Vairagya? Hmm. We need Vairagya because our mind is agitated because of material attachments. Hmm. Senses, they want sense object to enjoy, and these experiences are there. So therefore the senses and mind, they are having registered impression for enjoyment. So therefore vairagya means it is a one kind of a knowledge also that this world is temporary, and we should not attach to anything in this world more than basic necessity. Hmm. And this will be realized as you practice, like Krishna says, Vairagyena tato. Hmm. So, Abhyasa and Vairagya, two things are required to control one's mind. Hmm. So, Abhyas is to chant the holy name. Hmm. One has to chant the holy name, follow the regulative principles. Hmm. And also, one has to do some regulation of senses in day to day life, chanting along with chanting. And Vairagya is the one is the knowledge. One is knowledge, and then performing according to uh, some acharya, they say also performing some yoga, hmm, that is called Bhakti Mishra Yoga. Hmm. Means controlling mind and senses. So we don't do that externally. We don't do some mechanical activity to control mind and senses. Hmm. Our whole process is to follow the system of parampara, where we serve the guru parampara. Whatever they say we serve, we do that. Hmm. So by doing this, what happens? So when one attains a knowledge, then vairagya comes, and then when vairagya comes, then one can situate one's mind in Krishna comfortably, peacefully, and he can be happy, because then he will be attaining eternal happiness, Brahma Saukyam. So Brahma Saukyam, like Prabhupada many times mentioned, Krishna consciousness and sense gratification go ill together. So that means one has to realize this thing ki all the happiness and distress in this world are meaningless. They are simply in the dream. They are in the dream. And we are wasting our time in taking such dreams because we are having attachments. Uh, So then these attachments has to be given up with the knowledge and some practice, abhyas and vairagya, all these things. And then mind has to be situated in Krishna gradually. So this is a whole process. Either we do through varnashrama, uh, being situated nicely in one's ashrama and uh, varna, or wherever we are, we should try to follow these things. So Krishna was saying one should not take to others activities because paradharma bhayavaha. By taking to others action, because we can do that perfectly. Hmm. So that will create a havoc in one's life, because one will not get purified as well. At the same time, after some time, you'll find I am not fit for this. Why I started doing this activity? I am not fit for that. So like that. So we have done till 48 हो गया ना? Yes. Now as Krishna mentioned in previous section, you found that like in the beginning the chapter started sannyas and tyag. What is sannyas and tyag? So sannyas and tyag, that is like related to the karma yoga section. And after that, when Krishna mentioned that five factors in work one has to see in every kind of uh, work done through body, mind, and words, whatever success, not success, whatever right work is done or whatever wrong work is done, these five are the factors. And if one who does not see that, he is a foolish person. So that is kind of little jnana section. So now, but that is the beginning of jnana, because that also again person is working. So now we are coming to the section Brahman platform. What is this Brahman platform? What is the process of attaining that Brahman platform? Again, we know that this is a Gyan section. 18th chapter also comes in as a summary as well as is also Gyan section. And at last, Krishna, after discussing these things, he will take us to Bhakti. So karma section described, then little bit Gyan, then we came to again three modes. That is also Gyan only. And then we came to again karma like Varnashrama. And again, Krishna is explaining about the perfection in Jnana, like attaining the Brahman platform. ठीक है? तो who will read now? Some Prabhu will read. Sanatan Gopal Prabhu, you can read.
Oh, I'm traveling today, so there could be some disruption in the voice. I can
Amrish
read,
Pran
but
Prabhu can read. Amrish Pran Prabhu will read. So we'll start. 49th. असक्त बुद्धि सर्वत्र जितात्मा विगत स्पृहः नैष्कर्म्य सिद्धिं परमा संन्यासेन अधिगच्छति.
One who is self-controlled and unattached, and who disregards all material enjoyments can obtain, by practice of renunciation, the highest perfect stage of freedom from reaction.
Hmm. So this is a section where Krishna will describe how one can uh, do the transition from reaction-free work through Gyan Yoga to Brahman platform, and ultimately the pure devotion service. So here, one who is self-controlled, unattached, and who disregards all material enjoyment can obtain by practice of renunciation, the highest stage of freedom from reaction. So you just see here, not only Krishna was earlier mentioning to Arjuna that you should get free from reaction of work. That much is only called sannyas. But by reading this verse, it seems that Krishna is trying to tell that there is a even highest perfect stage of freedom from reaction. I was saying something before. There is you can attain the freedom from reaction, doership, and then enjoying mentality. But now here Krishna is telling the highest perfect stage of freedom from reaction one can attain. How? By becoming self-controlled, unattached, and disregarding all material enjoyment. Disregarding. It disregards. And by practice of renunciation means by special word means here practice of renunciation. If one wants to attain the highest stage of becoming free from all reactions of material reactions. Asakta buddhi sarvatra. Asakta buddhi. His intelligence is always asakta. Jitatma vigata spraha. No material desire. Spriha means desires. Vigata means you get free. And Jitatma means you control your mind, your mention. So having controlled mind with no material desire, Naiskarmyam Siddhi Paramam. So this is what the highest perfect stage of freedom from reaction. Naiskarmya Siddhim Parama. Sannyasena Adhikachati. By taking to renounce order. One comes to this stage of Naiskarmyam Siddhim. कैसे मिलता है? Paramam. Highest Naiskarmyam Siddhi. Real renunciation means that one should always think himself the part and parcel of the Supreme Lord, and therefore think that he has no right to enjoy the result of his work. Since he is a part and parcel of the Supreme Lord, the result of his work must be enjoyed by the Supreme Lord. This is actually Krishna consciousness. This is actually Krishna consciousness that Krishna should enjoy. The person acting in Krishna consciousness is really a sannyasi, one in the renounced order of life. By such a mentality, one is satisfied because he is actually acting for the Supreme. So one becomes satisfied. Thus, he is not attached to anything material. He becomes accustomed to not taking pleasure in anything beyond the transcendental happiness derived from the service of the Lord. So he is not attached. How this attachment is finished actually, or how this transcendental happiness is awakened. This clarity, the clarity of this knowledge has to be there always. Means, what is that? Attachment to material things is causing agitation in mind. One gets that thing, what is attached, and then again the mind says, get me another, get me another, get me another. So the mind is always restless because of not fulfillment of its desires, because he is attached. And attachment is created by lust, as we know that dhyayato vishyan pumsa sangas te supajayate, sangas sanjayate kama. So then the desire for object of the senses, the lust has awakened by enjoying, and then the desire is still maintained, more it has increased. So then it will never be satisfied, always be agitated. Because the nature of material enjoyment is, the more mind hovers on that material enjoyment, the more it becomes restless and selfish and restless. So this is there. And the nature of spiritual enjoyment is, the mind becomes more and more selfless, non-attached, and having a mood of a service, as well as it is a everlasting. And that is what real happiness is considered. That is what real happiness is considered. So then Prabhupada is saying, one has to think that everything belongs to Krishna. It is not for my enjoyment. And in this way, the attachment knot is loosened. That it is not meant for me. It is meant for Krishna. So one has to love Krishna. So by chanting the holy name, actually, we are praying to Lord that please engage my attachment in you, as Bhaktivedanta Thakur also prays. Prabhu tava pada yuga. Nahi mangi dhana jana. So there he is saying, I am not asking anything. I am simply, what I am asking, to the extent I have attachment to the things of this world, to that much extent I should have attachment for your lotus feet. And when one has that, one can experience transcendental happiness, which Prabhupada is mentioning. Transcendental happiness derived from the service of the Lord. So it means we are meant for higher enjoyment, we are meant for eternal enjoyment, but we are situated in, or we have settled ourselves in temporary enjoyment foolishly, actually, because of our attachments. This thing we should always think, how by chanting the holy name, these thoughts awaken. What I'm doing, I'm wasting my time. I'm simply becoming attached to this or that. So when we chant, we come closer to Krishna, or Krishna, we associate with Krishna, and then Krishna awakens our soul with attitude of service, with attitude of surrender. So then these things, unnecessary anarthas, they are revealed to us that these are useless, waste of time. So that's why it is important, actually. So Bhagavatam also says that one should blame oneself for being engaged in sense gratification. At the same time, one should also control one's senses, not to further engage. So a sannyasi is supposed to be free from reaction of past activities, but a person who is in Krishna consciousness automatically attains this perfection without even accepting the so-called order of renunciation. So this renunciation is not a dress or an order, it is a consciousness. So by working for Krishna, one becomes renunciate. In any ashram he may be. So this state of mind is called Yoga Rood. Yoga Rood, again, Yoga Ruksha. We have read earlier also. योगा आरूढ़, योग पे आप आरूढ़ हो गए, मीन्स यू आर नाउ, यू हैव कंट्रोल्ड अपन योगा, you are now ruling the yoga. And yoga ruruksh means you are beginning the yoga. So previously we were thinking like, the five factors of the doer, that was beginning. But here it is mentioned that one should be in that consciousness without any desire. So that is yoga rudha stage. As confirmed in third chapter, yastva atma ratir eva syat. One who is satisfied in himself, he has no fear of any kind of reaction from his activity. The first type of sannyasi gives up the fault in his work, characterized by attachment to being doer and attachment to the result. When that sannyasi perfects his sadhana over time, he reaches the yoga rudha. So see, ये हम शुरू में सीख रहे थे कि अपना डूअरशिप छोड़ो, इंजॉयरशिप छोड़ो, ये पहला है स्टेज है. लेकिन जैसे वो साधना खत्म होते होते फिर वो पहुंचता है बाद में योगा रूढ़ स्टेज पे. देन ही गिव्स अप द एक्शन आल्सो कंप्लीटली. दिस इज द सेकंड टाइप ऑफ संन्यास मेंशन्ड हियर. Prabhupada is mentioning in Krishna conscious way he has to still do the activity in consciousness of Krishna, but in the Gyan Yoga section, he has to give up the work also. He whose intelligence is free from all attachments to material objects, asakta buddhi, whose mind is under control, jitatma, and who has no desire for happiness even of the Brahma Loka, bigat spriha. So Brahma Lok में भी जाने की शिक्षा नहीं है. Then by complete renunciation of all activities, sannyasena attains the highest perfection of no action at all, nas karmyam. In other words, the stage of the Yoga Rudha, no action, with attainment of Neskarmyam, one reaches the highest perfection. See, one thing, Neskarmyam, when we understand, so Neskarmyam means also understood as that free from reaction of the work. That is the beginning of Neskarmyam. The highest as the Neskarmyam Siddhim Paramam. The highest Neskarmyam is to give up the work itself. That is mentioned here. Give up the work itself. That is in Gyan, by Gyan Yoga. ठीक है. So we are also reading the literally what is Gyan Yoga, and we are also reading what we can practice. We cannot practice this Gyan Yoga. This is not for us. Just for understanding we are reading this. But yes, some part like giving up desire for going to go in Brahma Loka, all these things. So that we can follow. The aspirant of liberation, Aruruksha, Asanistha, fixed in doing his duty, after having realized his Sarupa by being fixed in karma, which contains jnana within it, should give up completely that level of karma. That is explained in this verse. He whose intelligence is unattached, asakta buddhi, to all the things except Atma, because the mind is under the control for tasting the bliss of Atma, and because he is devoid of desire for varieties of happiness derived from the objects other than the Atma, Bigat Spraha, attains the highest perfection called Yoga Rudha, characterized by non-action through renouncing completely sannyasa in all actions which are cause of disturbance in tasting the Atma, testing of Atma. This has already been described in third chapter. So आप देख सकते हो कि यस्त्व आत्मरतिर एव स्यात्, केवल आत्मा से कनेक्टेड जो चीज है उसी के प्रति रति रखना, बाकी सब त्याग देना, वो योगा रूढ़ का स्टेज है. He is the highest stage of yoga. Means he has become free from all kinds of attachment of work as well as the result also. He does not want result also, work also. So this work is not Krishna conscious work. This is material work or his prescribed duty. Okay. Previous section we learned that one should do one's duty, one should not take to others' duty. But now in this section we are learning we have to come to go beyond the duty platform also. But Prabhupada mentions that we have to do Krishna conscious activities. That should not be given up at any time. सिद्धिं प्राप्तो यथा ब्रह्म तथाप्नोति निबोध मे समासेनैव कौन्तेय निष्ठा ज्ञानस्य या पर. Yes, Prabhu.
O son of Kunti, learn from me how one has achieved this perfection. How one achieved this perfection can attain to the supreme perfectional stage, Brahman, the stage of highest knowledge, by acting in the way I shall now summarize.
So, perfect stage of sannyas. सिद्धिं प्राप्तो यथा ब्रह्म तथा आपनोति निबोध में. मुझसे समझो निबोध में. ट्राई टू अंडरस्टैंड फ्रॉम मी. लॉर्ड इज सेइंग सिद्धिं प्राप्तो यथा ब्रह्म. whose intelligence is detached from all material objects, that is asakta buddhi sarvatra. Okay, okay, yeah, the 50th one. Know how to attain Brahman. Having attained such perfection by cessation of all work, one realizes Brahman, the stage of highest knowledge, jnana. Now here here the process of realizing that Brahman. So now what is the taste in that person? What is the taste is there? Because of which he has given up everything. See, this is very, very important. Our knowledge has to become very fixed up. One has to become filled up in one's knowledge. And the knowledge becomes fixed up by awakening our true self more and more. So our true self in this world is surrounded with the three modes of material nature. And so therefore, every time if mode of goodness is there, so then certain kind of activity is prominent. Mode of passion is there, certain kind of. Mode of ignorance, certain kind. Okay. So because of that, what is happening? Every moment, mind is associating with the three modes. Yes. And when we are giving the opportunity to the mind to associate with transcendental mode like kirtan, katha, so then mind is associating with that. Otherwise, mind is surrounded with all these three gunas. So this is a danger in this world. In the spiritual world, there is no three guna. Means there is no chance only of fall down. That's why it's mentioned. In spiritual world, there is no three guna. So where the mind will think about anything? Nothing. No rajas, no tamas. Pure sattva, pure. No mixture of rajas, tamas. Yes. And here it becomes a problem. So therefore here one has to fix one's knowledge. Always one has to keep on fixing one's knowledge because it may be polluted by rajas and tamas. Some desires, some kind of laziness, some kind of ignorance all the time. Therefore this world is a dangerous place for even a practicing sadhaka or even perfect siddhas. This place is called padam padam yad vipadam. Every moment there can be vipada, trouble. So now Krishna is going to tell that how to attain this perfectional stage. Nishtha jnanasya yapara samasenaiva kaunteya. So samasena means summarily he will describe, not in detail, but in summary he will describe. And siddhim prapto yatha brahman. So how to attain that Brahma siddhi, Brahman platform. The Lord describes for Arjuna how one can achieve the highest perfectional state simply by being engaged in occupational duty, performing that duty for Supreme Lord. One attains the supreme stage of Brahman simply by renouncing the result of his work for the satisfaction of the Lord. This is a process of self-realization. The actual perfection of knowledge is in attaining the pure Krishna consciousness, that is described in following verses. Understand by which method yatha one attains or realizes Brahman. This is the very highest stage of jnana. Jnanasya nishtha para. तो ज्ञान का सबसे ऊंचा स्टेज क्या है? ये ब्रह्मांड को जानना, अपने को जानना. अहम ब्रह्मास्मि, हियर वी गेट रियलाइज्ड. वन रियलाइजेस दैट आई एम अ ब्रह्मन. According to the Amar Kosh, Nishtha means consummation or final attainment. Actually, so till the time a person does not realize I am a Brahman, he keeps on associating with the modes through his mind, through his action, through his speech. Keep on associating because he does not know his identity. When he knows that I am the Brahman, then he can see the modes are working on his mind, modes are working on his body and his speech. So they are working means they are trying to catch him, but he has a, because ultimately who is a doer? Means controller is a soul. The soul is controlling the speech, body, mind, everything. The soul, so therefore the soul does not engage. He may engage for his duty purpose, but he will not engage for any material purpose. Only for duty purpose he may engage. Like sometimes it mentioned, Krishna mentioned Janak Maharaj. Janak Maharaj, even though he is a transcendental, he is still engaged in the work. But here we are discussing to attain Brahman platform, he has to give up his work also. But those devotees who are even beyond Brahman platform, they may still start doing the work, but they don't attach themselves to any modes. Modes को attach नहीं करते हो. They may use the modes sometimes or for their duty purpose, but they do not get attached to them. So this is a yoga karmasu kaushalam, as we have read in the second chapter. buddhi yukto jahatiha sukrit duskrit ubha. So sukrit duskrita. So all the bad and good results one should get rid of by being situated in buddhi yoga. That we have learned in second chapter 2.50. So here also the same thing mentioned, jnanasya nishtha para. So he is having the great nishtha in the knowledge of one own self. I am a Brahman. And then he becomes situated on that platform. Please understand the method by which the cessation of ignorance and undertaking even the cessation of knowledge, vidya, giving up even the process of jnana, completed person will realize Brahman. So what is mentioned here, just see how one can realize Brahman. One has to give up the vidya and avidya both. And he has to just become situated, because vidya and avidya both are which potency? They are potency of Maya. So one has to give up vidya also, avidya also. One has to take help of vidya and go to that and then give it up. Therefore, you find Prabhupada mention that jnanis, they give up their guru also. Because they think that I have become now that person. So those have, see, there is a means it's a gray zone. Impersonalist and Mayavadi. This is a gray zone. So impersonalist can immediately become Mayavadi if he just associates with some Mayavadi. It's very like quite near. Yes. So therefore, these Gyanis, they want to merge into Brahman. But if who is that Brahman? If they think that Brahman is the supreme Brahman and Brahman both are equal and I'm going to become the now supreme Brahman, that is Mayavad. But if he just thinks that I'm simply going to merge into Brahman, okay, I'm just going to be there, bas finish. I'm not going to become God or supreme Brahman. That kind of attitude he does not have. So then he will attain the Brahman realization. So Brahman realization or Brahman situation, this is only possible after going out of this world, means the world of three gunas. So he has to give up vidya also and avidya also. So that is why. But we find in bhakti process, we never give up bhakti. We keep on continuing bhakti even till a spiritual world. That is there. So here even the jnana process is also has to be given up. Even the process of jnana also given up. Having worshipped Hari by one's prescribed actions and consequently having attained renunciation of all actions, one attains the level of meditation on the Atma, Siddhim, through the mercy of the Lord. By being situated in that process, one realizes one's Sarupa, endowed with the 8 qualities, Brahman Apnoti. The 8 qualities of Brahman. Please understand this process by which what this happens from me, who will relate in brief. So, okay. बुद्धया विशुद्धया युक्तो धृत्या आत्मानं नियम्य च शब्दादीन् विषयांस त्यक्त्वा रागद्वेषो व्युद्यस्य च विविक्तसेवी लग्वास लग्वासी यत्वाक्वाया वाक्याय मानसः ध्यानयोगपरो नित्यं वैराग्यं समुपाश्रितः अहंकारं बलं दर्पं कामं क्रोधं परिग्रहं विमुच्य निर्ममः शांतो ब्रह्म भूयाय कल्पते. Yes, go ahead.
Being purified by his intelligence and controlling the mind with determination, giving up the objects of sense gratification, being freed from attachment and hatred, one who lives in a secluded place, who eats little, who controls his body, mind, and power of speech, who is always in trance, and who is detached, free from false ego, false strength, false pride, lust, anger, and acceptance of material things, free from false proprietorship, and peaceful. Such a person is certainly elevated to the position of self realization.
So now Krishna is saying to know how to attain Brahman. So now Krishna is saying such a person is certainly elevated to position of Brahman. So these are his attainments, what he has attained. So that's why he is qualified for going to Brahman or merging into Brahman. So what are those? Being purified by his intelligence. Buddhya vishuddha yukto. Okay. So being purified by his intelligence. So is sattvic intelligence. Then dhitatmanam niyamya cha. controlling the mind with determination. Controlling the mind with determination. That is what? Dhritatmanam niyamya cha. पहला क्या है? बुद्धिया विशुद्ध युक्तो. विशुद्ध बुद्धि होनी चाहिए. Intelligence. Now, who will tell what is the intelligence in mode of goodness? We have read now. Intelligence in mode of goodness, and then what is determination in mode of goodness? थोड़ा सा याद है किसी को भी? हाँ, यस माता जी.
In the mode of goodness, a person knows about the charity to whom give is the right person, like to whom to give the charity and how to follow the dharma.
हाँ ठीक है. What is to be done, what is not to be done, what is
हाँ.
binding, what is liberating, and what is to be feared, what is not to be feared. Yes, correct. Yes, you have something?
Yeah, but that only same that what is
So
right, wrong.
therefore, this is a intelligence purified. Okay, sattvic intelligence. Buddhaya vishuddha yukto. At the same time, this we are seeing in this world, na? What is to be done, what is to be feared. But here he has to attain the Brahman. मतलब वो तो beginning का हमने देखा. इसमें कुछ और एडिशन भी है. ऐसा नहीं है कि क्योंकि इसमें तो प्रोसेस को ही छोड़ना है ना, ज्ञान योगा प्रोसेस. सो हिज इंटेलिजेंस इज मोर प्यूरिफाइड. He has given up the work also, na? That we are thinking what is to be done, what is not. That is like still in the somebody is in karma yoga and coming to satguna. But this is more high. One has to give up the work itself. So that intelligence is not even thinking about material enjoyment. Totally nothing. Yes. So even duty platform से भी ऊपर आ चुका है ये intelligence, purified intelligence. Buddhaya vishuddhaya. Okay. So now dhritatmanam niyamya. So then one should be regulated, niyamya, controlled, the controlling the mind with determination. So one should be regulated, determined, regulation by determination, basically. Then the next is said, sabdadin vishayams tyaktva. Giving of the sense object of giving the object of sense gratification. That is the meaning. But here the word used is sabda adi. Sabda, Rupa, Rasa, Gandha, Sparsha, all these things, sense objects. One has to Vishayams Tyaktva. सारे विषय को छोड़ दिया है. देखो, in our life, one has to become more and more conscious of what one is doing actually. Many times we indulge in prajalpa actually, finding fault in so many people, this, that. The reason is we can look back in our consciousness. We are not focused much in our life. Because you just see this Brahma, the realizer of Brahman, attainer of Brahma Mukti, how much he is conscious about his position and how much he is detached from the sense enjoyment. Everything is mentioned here. His buddhi is suddha, his determination is fully regulated, he is free from all kind of sabda, rupa, sparsa, gandha, all vishaya. So bhakta can take in that way all these things in bhakti. Like we are only taking those sense objects which are required for basic and little bit for enjoyment, because we are not at that stage. So we are using it for a little enjoyment as well as which are regulated, which are permissible in the limit of bhakti. That much we are taking. So like that, the focus has to be there, whether my buddhi is pure, what I'm doing right now, how is my consciousness, what is the goal of my consciousness. Now the raga dvesha vyudasya cha, being freed from attachment and hatred. So previously also the word came the araga dvesha. राग और द्वेष नहीं होना चाहिए। तो इसका राग और द्वेष भी नहीं है, तो ये बहुत सारे प्रॉब्लम इससे इससे सॉल्व हो जाते हैं। किससे? जो कोई अगर अटैचमेंट और हेटरेड से फ्री हो गया, like Kaikai was very much attached. Later he became attached to, she became attached to kingdom, and she became hatred. She developed hatred for Lord Ram, because she became attached to kingdom. So one has to become free from attachment to one's body, the people near to him, the objects. This is what mentioned here. One can use those, but rag dvesa vidyusya vivikta sevi lagu asi vivikta sevi. What is vivikta sevi? Living in secluded place. So why living in secluded place? In 11th canto, there's a mention of a lady having a bangles in her hand. So when the two hands having the bangles, when they come, what will happen? They will start making sound. So therefore, the Tatare says, eh, I learned from this one lesson, because he had 24 guru, that I should live alone, because if the bangles are together, they will always make some sound. So when we discuss about association of devotees also, in beginning days, it is more like to say that eat prasad together, dance together, attend Mangal Arati together. But actually, it should advance, and that what does it comes? When the Sajatiya Bhakta, when we find equally interested devotees who are very much interested in discussing Bhagavatam, like we should also have that taste. Whenever we meet, we discuss about Krishna. Whenever we meet, we discuss about some devotional service. So that kind of association is fruitful while we advance. But again, the same association, what we began with, if it continues, then in between Prajalpa also comes, so many things comes. I don't like this person. Why this is? I like this thing, that thing. Too much discussion happens on this. So it is our disease actually. So therefore, Vivikta Sevitvam, Artir Jana Samsati, the items of knowledge also there is mentioned. One should live in a secluded place. Even Nityanand Prabhu and even Madhven Puri, in their lives also, they did not live with so many devotees. Nityanand Prabhu, in the beginning, till the time Chaitanya Prabhu did not arrive, he was just roaming alone. And there was, it was mentioned, actually, he mentions that when he meets with Madhven Puri, ki now today I have got the equal association. I have got equal association. Earlier, I was seeing all karmi, jnani, or just moving here and there. So I never wanted to associate, like Madhven Puri is saying to our Nityanand Prabhu. So they were having the similar kind of enthusiasm in bhakti that really awakens our love for Krishna. So it means if somebody is secluded and then he is not able to fix his consciousness, that is a different thing. But seclusion whole means was to focus on Krishna more. So sometimes association also troubles a lot. Like one time Radha Govind Maharaj used to say कि कभी कभी शिष्य भी गुरु को शांति से बैठने नहीं देते हैं। शिष्य आया के बोलते हैं गुरु महाराज ये प्रॉब्लम है, वो प्रॉब्लम है, तो गुरु महाराज को ही सरदर्द दे देते हैं वो। So we are living in institute. The institute has this problem also. It has a many good benefit, but this problem also, because we take it for granted. Association means just being with some Vaishnava, that is called association. No, that is not called association in a later terms, in later part of advancement. Association means really to awaken and to inspire our Krishna consciousness more and more. And if we are not able to see that, it means we are not associating actually. Then we simply discuss about the flaws here and there. That can be sometimes practical, but that may not be Krishna conscious association. Prabhupada mentions this part actually in the Goswamis. He mentions that Goswamis used to come together and discuss Srimad Bhagavatam. He mentions that. So he mentions the example of Goswamis taking association of themselves. So they used to come in Vrindavan together and they have to discuss like that. हरे कृष्णा, ये क्या कर रहे हैं? एक मिनट. So like that, living in secluded place. So therefore, journaling our thoughts, contemplating, becoming introspective in our life, it is very, very important as we grow more in bhakti. Especially when we are reading Shastra, we are teaching Shastra, we have to look upon our own habits, our thought process. We have to become more and more like detached and not blasphemous or not criticizing others, because everything in this world is working under three modes. Mm. So, so a person has to understand too much. Institute many time brings the attitude of controlling people, controlling the things. Mm. But one has to go beyond the institute, this thinking of institute. Even though sometimes one may think that, oh, I have to do this thing, I have to do that thing. Oh, I'm doing for Krishna. I'm doing for Krishna. Uh, but actually, I'm doing for Krishna. That is we are saying. But are we? Then we have so many attachments also. Then how can these both exist? If I'm doing for Krishna and then other time this is also okay, that will go away after some time. So therefore, better we can loosen here also a little bit. So it's more like a requirement of introspection and one's practice along with one's service. One should not give up the service. But the thing is that the association which we are discussing here, association should make us more internal than exerting out our external feelings and likings and experiences, all these things. Like sometimes devotees come together and say, "Hare, discuss what did you like in yatra? क्या लगा तुमको? हाँ, मैंने अच्छा प्रसाद खाया, मैंने उनके साथ डांस किया." ये क्या बच्चों वाली कहानी थोड़ी कभी कभी चलती रहती है? तो बच्चे बोलते हैं हम भी ये कि ठीक है, बट वी सी when you talk about spiritual life, it should have eternal happiness. Happiness means it should constant. But do we feel like that even after means speaking all those things? Do we feel the same kind of happiness all the time? Tomorrow we'll fight with the same devotee. So we should understand we have not gone internal. We are simply saying externally. है ना? अभी 10 बार भी हम लेक्चर दे देंगे आत्मा के ऊपर, लेकिन जब अटैचमेंट आएगा तो बस सेंसेस आएंगे, ऑब्जेक्ट आएंगे तो बस गया वो आत्मा। इसका मतलब क्या है? हम अभी बच्चे हैं, वी आर अभी स्टिल चिल्ड्रन। सो वी हैव टू गो डीपर। आई एम सेइंग फॉर माई सेल्फ, सम ऑफ यू मे बी एडवांस, so we can learn. Okay, विविक्त सेवी लघ्वासी यत वात काय मानसा, यत वाक काय मानसा, कंट्रोलिंग वन स्पीच बॉडी माइंड। तो यत वाक, देखो वाक काय मानसा, ये इसको कंट्रोल करना है। हाँ, लघु, लघवासी मतलब लिटिल, ईटिंग लिटिल, कम खाना। विविक्त से अभी one time Radhe Shyam was saying in ISKCON, many time people say our is kitchen religion, our prasad religion. But Chetan Mahaprabhu time many people used to fast also. When devotees would not get mercy, they used to fast also. But we eat even in the Ekadasi day also we eat feast. तो ये एक्चुअली एक तरीके का कोई डिस्टॉर्शन भी हो जाता है। बात सही है, मेनी टाइम्स डिस्टॉर्शन आल्सो हैपेंस। लघवासी, not come on that stage of lagvasi, it will take more time. Then ध्यान योग परो, ध्यान योग परो, ध्यान योग परो नित्यम। What is that? Who is always in trance and who is detached, who is in trance, nityam, always who is in trance. Yes, Prabhu.
So even our six Goswamis also, like they are epitome of renunciation, whom Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has quoted as ideal examples to follow. But Prabhuji, when we say that chanting, dancing, feasting movement, so it's like said that okay, initially people have to be attracted by that, but then they have to gradually surpass it and then advance the journey in bhakti. But again, then after some time, some devotees come and then they say, no, no, we strictly again focus on that chanting, dancing, feasting only and support our japa. So how do we see this story?
चैंटिंग डांसिंग फिस्टिंग, चैंटिंग डांसिंग फिस्टिंग कर रहे हैं तो ये तीन काम कर रहे हैं तो कोई दिक्कत नहीं है, लेकिन उसके अलावा भी बहुत सारे हो जाते हैं। हाँ, so Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's again message is what? Wanted to chant inoffensive holy name, not offend Vaishnavas. By doing this, one will go back to garden. So is it so easy to do that? How much easy it is? No, it's not easy. Satatam kirtayanto mam yatantascha dilvrata. So Prabhupada gave 16 round, but Chaitanya Mahaprabhu did not give 16 round. He gave nityam, karte hi raho, agni. So Prabhupada then made a system. You grow in this way. After do this, go like that. So it's like that. So Acharya never replaced the main thing, but they may make some systems to attain that thing. So when chanting, dancing, feasting is there, it is to at one time we have to realize that, okay, now the body is getting old. I should attain the consciousness more in Krishna. That is also mentioned by Acharya, that one should fix one's mind. How many, more than this word of chanting, dancing, feasting, how many times this word is mentioned that we have to think of Krishna, we have to give up our enjoying mentality, we have to focus on Krishna consciousness. These are spoken more than this chanting, feasting, dancing. It means to say that the process is easy, but the kind of advancement we should also be showing in our life should be proportional. Now somebody doing chanting, dancing, feasting from 50 years. Then he will ask the question, how long I have to do? So then he has to more introspect कि अरे किधर फंसा हूँ, किधर क्या है, किधर क्या है. तो वो सब भी है, वो सब भी है. And you find the spiritual life is not a stagnant process. Just somebody saying I chanted my round, I danced in Mangal Aarti, Guru Puja, and I ate prasadam morning, afternoon, evening. My bhakti is complete. If this is said in front of Prabhupada, what he will say? He will say bhakti means 24 hours, not stopping. He will also say that also. Prabhupada will also say that. Means he will say chanting, feasting, dancing 24 hours. होना ही चाहिए. Means you're chanting, you're dancing. When you are becoming tired, you are feasting. Bas. Then again you're chanting, dancing. Then again. So then he will say that. Prabhupada will say. So we should understand it's a progressive thing. Ultimately, when we become perfect, what we do? Chant, dance and feast. तो परफेक्शन वो है, लेकिन ये बीच में जो है हमें अपने को अलग अलग तरीकों से ट्यून करना पड़ेगा, अपने हैबिट्स को सुधारना पड़ेगा. असत्संग में नहीं जाना है, सत्संग में रहना है. फोकस कृष्णा कॉन्शियसनेस को प्रैक्टिस करने के लिए व्यक्ति को फोकस होना पड़ेगा. व्यवसायत्मिका बुद्धि एक है पुरनंदना. इट इज नॉट अ प्रोसेस ऑफ सिंपली वर्ड्स, simply spoken and people are following. No, it's a process of purification of heart. And many times we may fall down from those expected things which are very easy to follow, easy to say, but not difficult in application. So therefore, we have to take help of all these other things by knowledge. Oh, I'm missing here, I'm missing here, I'm missing here. Let me improve myself here. Let me improve myself here. Like that. It's a process where we have to engage our consciousness wherever we are weak. जहां जहां पे हम कमजोर है वहां पे अपना कॉन्शियसनेस लगा के उसे सही करना है. Then we can do chanting, dancing, feasting properly. We are all chanting, so but we can know that chanting में नींद से ज्यादा नाम आता है या नींद आता है, ये बहुत सारे विचार भी आते हैं, है कि नहीं? So these are the facts. ध्यान योग परो नित्यम. At the same time, the mercy of great souls should not be taken granted. If someone can get the mercy of the great soul in his association guidance, one can easily advance. That is also there. Like Narad Muni advanced very quickly, like that. That is also possible. This we are discussing about our own endeavor to attract the mercy of the Lord. Dhyan yoga para nityam, 24 hours a day one should be absorbed in trance. Just he mentioned 24 hours a day. And then free from false ego, false strength, false pride, lust, anger, acceptance, and acceptance of material things, free from false proprietorship. You see, all these things are basically one's bad attachment to this world, and this he has got freed from there. ये देखो इसी को बोला गया है कि then such a person can be elevated to position of self realization. It is nowhere mentioned here that you should fix on some pastime of Krishna. कोई मेंशन नहीं है, क्योंकि ये ब्रह्म मुक्ति वाला व्यक्ति है। इसको पूरा समय किसमें लग रहा है? अपने को कंट्रोल करने में ही। इतना सारा कचड़ा पड़ा हुआ है व्यक्ति के अंदर। अकेले रहना है, कम खाना है, डिटर्मिनेशन रखना है, इंटेलिजेंस शुद्ध रखना है, फॉल्स ईगो नहीं होना चाहिए, लस्ट नहीं होना चाहिए, एंगर नहीं होना चाहिए, क्या क्या नहीं, सब कचड़ा भरा हुआ है। सो मच, सो मच। When one is purified by intelligence, he keeps himself in mode of goodness. Thus, one becomes the controller of mind and is always in trance. He is not attached to the object of sense gratification and he is free from attachment and hatred in his activity. So, intelligence जब purified हो जाता है, तब क्या होता है? सतगुण में व्यक्ति आ जाता है। सतगुण में व्यक्ति कब आता है? इंटेलिजेंस प्यूरिफाई होता है। इंटेलिजेंस कैसे प्यूरिफाई होगा? Intelligence is a faculty of knowledge. So if we put the knowledge in intelligence, those knowledge which are related to vairagya, which are related to attainment of a spiritual world or going beyond this world, that kind of knowledge should convince the intelligence that there is nothing in this world. So that knowledge and the detachment from this world, that knowledge, not that taking any shastra and then reading, then becoming confused. It should not be actually. See, this is very, very important. Means many times it again depends upon different kind of devotees and their instructions given by spiritual master or some other great Vaishnava. But still, some people may feel that I should go to Ayurveda, astrology and find out what is going in my life. So, abhi people may think whatever they may think, but the intelligence has to be purified of all such knowledge also. It should be fully fixed upon Brahman or at least the Krishna consciousness. Whatever Krishna will desire, that will happen. Intelligence should not be taking anything which is in three guna. Like that. So thus one becomes controller of mind and is always in trance. Become free from attachment and hatred. Such a detached person naturally prefers to live in secluded place. He does not eat more. This is another thing. This is a benefit. I mean to say benefit or how we have to do. If it is earlier also seen, if you are living alone, you don't eat much. How many of you agree with this? At least some hands can be up. Or if you live alone, do you eat more? Means we are living with some purpose. I'm not going to say. Yes, we don't eat more. But when we eat more, when we live together, वो खा रहा है तो हम भी खाएंगे, ये हो जाता है। देखा देखी में बहुत कुछ हो जाता है। तो प्रभुपाद बोलते हैं डिटैच पर्सन नेचुरली प्रेफर्स टू लिव अलोन। डिटैच पर्सन, क्यों? उसको अटैचमेंट नहीं चाहिए। ही डज नॉट ईट मोर देन व्हाट ही रिक्वायर्स। कुकिंग में ज्यादा नहीं करता आदमी, अकेला रहेगा तो ज्यादा कुकिंग भी नहीं करता है। बट हाँ, उसका माइंड उसको खाना नहीं चाहिए, बस माइंड शुड नॉट ईट हिम। That is, he has to take care. Otherwise, mind, because people become lonely, then nowadays people can go to mobile and other things also. That is more dangerous. So lonely. So therefore, is mentioned detached person. Prabhupada did not allow anyone to go to Radhakund and chant 64 rounds alone. He said, "You will fall down." So we have to practice detachment in this way. Means we have to practice our sadhana sometimes in alone place, or at least we have to think in a place away from all kind of things which can disturb the mind. And then he has no false ego because he does not accept the body as himself, nor he has the desire to make the body fat and strong by accepting some material things. उसको मोटा या पतला नहीं करना है, strong by accepting some material things. Because he has no bodily concept of life, he's not falsely proud. जैसे कभी हम सोचते हैं हमारा बॉडी थोड़ा अभी थोड़ा स्ट्रांग बनाते हैं. Again, it is whether it is allowed or not allowed, that is not a question. Whatever one has a consciousness, one does the activity accordingly. ठीक है, किसी को लग रहा है बॉडी कमजोर है, इसको सेवा के लिए चाहिए, तो इसको मजबूत बनाओ, कोई इशू नहीं है, नॉट ए इशू. Ultimately, when one gives up this conception of body, then one will automatically come to that stage. वो आ जाएगा अपने आप. But when we are reading this thing and we want to follow, then one can follow directly. Otherwise, wherever one is, one should be situated there and then try to advance ahead. It should not be forced too much. इतना force नहीं होना चाहिए. He is satisfied with everything that is offered to him by the grace of the Lord, and he is never angry in the absence of sense gratification. Yeah. So he is never angry, nor does he endeavor to acquire sense objects. Thus, he is completely free from false ego. So he does not endeavor to acquire sense objects, and he becomes non-attached to all material things. That is a stage of self-realization called Brahman realization. Yeah, means a person has to give up everything, all material hankerings, all material sense objects, everything. Apuryamanam achalam pratishtham samudramapam pravishanti yadvat. This we know that shloka. So he is not disturbed by incessant flow of desires because he has become detached. तो जितने भी डिजायर्स आएंगे कोई मतलब नहीं उनका, वो उससे अटैच ही नहीं है. So like this. So one should be endowed with sattvic intelligence, buddhya, vishuddhaya, controlling the mind, atmavan niyamaya, with similar sattvic determination. One should be completely devoted to thinking of Bhagavan, dhyan yoga para. One should divide of his strength, bala, related to material attachments and desire, rather than divide of physical strength. Okay, so here mentioned one should be devoid of strength related to material attachment. One should be weak in material, keep material attachment very less and desires, but physical strength can be there, if mentioned. With the cessation of ignorance, avidya, characterized by freedom from ahankara, price, lust, anger, possession, and there is also cessation of satguna, santaha. This is the achievement of jnana sannyasa, giving up the jnana itself. Okay. So not only one has to come to Satguna, but giving up Satguna also. See, what is different between Suddha Sattva and Satguna? Satguna is material here. It is sometimes polluted by Tamoguna Rajoguna, but that guna is never polluted. So sometimes there can be use of this word Satguna, like for this and that, similar. But whenever we are saying going to Brahman means it is a no material quality is there in Brahman. It is fully pure quality, Satguna is there. But that Satguna or this Satguna difference is what this can be polluted with material modes and this cannot be. ठीक है. ब्रह्मभूत प्रसन्न आत्मा न सोचति न कांक्षति सम सर्वेषु भूतेषु मद्भक्ति लभते पराम.
One who is thus transcendently situated at once realizes the Supreme Brahman and becomes fully joyful. He never laments or desires to have anything. He is equally disposed towards all living entities. In that state, he attains pure devotional service unto me.
In that state, he attains pure devotional service. To the impersonalist, achieving the Brahmabhuta state, becoming one with the Absolute, is the last word. But for the personalist, for a pure devotee, one has to still go further to become engaged in pure devotion service. This means that one who is engaged in pure devotion service is already in the state of liberation called Brahmabhuta. Oneness with the Absolute. Without being one with the Supreme Absolute, one cannot render service unto him. In the Absolute conception, there is no difference between served and the servitor, yet the distinction is there in higher spiritual sense. In the material concept of life, when one works for sense gratification, there is a misery. But in the Absolute world, when one is engaged in pure devotional service, there is no misery. The devotee is in Krishna consciousness, has nothing for which to lament or desire. Since God is full, living entity who is engaged in God's service is in Krishna consciousness, become also full in himself. He's just like a river cleans of all dirty water. Because a pure devotee has no thoughts other than Krishna, he is naturally always joyful. He does not lament for any material loss or aspire for gain, because he is full in service of Krishna, a service of the Lord. He has no desire for material enjoyment because he knows that every living entity is a fragmental part and parcel of the Lord and therefore eternally a servant. He does not see in the material world someone as higher, someone as lower. Higher and lower positions are ephemeral, and a devotee has nothing to do with ephemeral appearance and disappearance. For him, stone or gold are of equal value. This is the Brahmabhuta stage. So okay, so now here it's clearly mentioned. You see, if one wants to serve the Lord, one has to become as much pure as the Lord. So Lord has no material desires. So then he does not aspire or he does not lament. Lord also. So Lord will not lament for any material loss. This world is running, so many people are dying, so many things are going up and down. But he is like a great soul, Brahma Bhuta Prasannatma. He does not worry. Lord also does not worry. Let it go. Because the same Lord who created this whole universe, at one moment he finishes all those things without attachment. Like a example given in the Bhagavatam, like a spider. A spider just spreads the web, and after some time he just takes all the web inside. Finish. खत्म कर देता हूँ. तो भगवान को इतना बनाने के बाद ये नहीं सोचेगा कि अरे यार इतना मेहनत किया है, अभी क्या दोबारा लेना पड़ेगा, क्या खींचना पड़ेगा दोबारा, खत्म. भगवान खत्म कर देते हैं बिना सोचे. We can just imagine. How is it? Lord is not attached. Lord just does the transcendental work. Like somebody was asking, now Ram Navami is going on. Hi, Ram is very hard-hearted. He left Sita. So the question is, how many times we read that there was a fight between Sita and Ram to the extent that they wanted to be separated? Never. And they are the beginner, or you can say initiator of all the love which we have in this world. Adi Ras is the beginning of all the rasas in the world. Yes. So that rasa they are relishing. And how can Ram wants to live away from Sita? It is a pastime where Ram wants to teach to all of us that we should follow dharma. A king should follow a dharma of a king. He should not misunderstand or mingle his dharma with his personal life. If personal life is troubling his dharma, then he has to keep personal life separate. He has to follow the dharma of kingship. So he is doing sacrifice actually. That we have to learn. He loves Sita so much. He cannot live away without Sita. But still he is separating. It means what? And he's not separating because Lord and internal potency can never be separated. But still he's showing that he's separating. But he loves so much. So then where is the question of hatred between oneself? It just is, people don't understand. They simply put the case against Lord Ram. So here also Lord is detached. He's creating the universe and detached also. भगवान डिटैच भी है. भगवान को कोई मतलब नहीं है. और भगवान जब क्रिएशन करेंगे तो अटैच की तरह दिखेगा. एवरी नूक एंड कॉर्नर में सभी चीज होना चाहिए. सब बराबर होना चाहिए. टाइम ऋतु बराबर होना चाहिए. गर्मी सर्दी बराबर होना चाहिए. सो मेनी थिंग्स, एवरीथिंग प्रॉपर. ऐसे नहीं डिटैच मोड में बना दिया है नेचर को. ऐसे नहीं बनाया है भगवान ने. उसको भी कितने अच्छे से बनाया एंड फिनिश भी कर देते भगवान. तो ये चीज एक इंपॉर्टेंट है यहाँ पे कि Lord is fully pure, he is not attached. In the similar way, the servitor also, when he comes to that stage, Brahma Bhuta, where na shoti na kamshati, he can serve the Lord free from all material tension, hankering. So here later Prabhupada says that since the God is full, living entities also engage in his service in Krishna consciousness becomes also full. So when we can become full, when we are engaged in Krishna consciousness, we are engaged in God's service in Krishna consciousness. Means we are doing service with a Krishna conscious attitude. Then we are full in ourselves. God is full. He does not require to become half. He is always full. Then we can become full when we are engaged in his loving devotional service. Then we are also full. So it's mentioned here. So then at that stage, one does not require any other things. और कुछ नहीं चाहिए. He has no desire to format. And see, many times, okay, ultimately the yoga, the goal of yoga and all other things is to meditate on Krishna. Okay, so yogis are controlling their mind ultimately to fix their mind on Krishna. Samadhi means fixing mind on Krishna. And Prabhupada taught us that we are going and bringing sabjis, we are going and doing some work also. So this is called active samadhi. That is silent meditation, sitting at one place and doing silent meditation. Another is called active samadhi, means active meditation. So in Krishna consciousness, because the soul itself is surrendered to the Lord, all his activity is surrendered to him. Kaya, manasa, vacha, everything. So he is full in that way. बट इसको इतना भी इसको ऐसे नहीं समझना चाहिए कि सर्विस मेनी टाइम वी मिसअंडरस्टैंड, यू कैन से लाइक सिंपली वर्किंग हार्ड दैट इज कॉल्ड सर्विस. नो, service actually means to become situated in Krishna consciousness, and then trying to render with our hands and legs, with our senses, whatever we can render service. That is the service meaning of service. Otherwise, great shows how much they can do hard work. They do not do hard work. Their work is what? Their work is to inspire people. With their own Krishna consciousness, when they inspire people, become very happy and they become engaged in their services. So their work changes. So basically, one's consciousness should be so much surcharged in remembrance of Krishna or in pastimes, other things, then he cannot see the difference between the work and साइलेंस. मतलब वो साइलेंट भी है तो वर्क ही है, वो भगवान के में लीला में मेडिटेट कर रहा है, और वर्क कर रहा है तो फिर भी वो भगवान की लीला में ही मेडिटेट कर रहा है वर्क के साथ साथ. हमारे टाइम में डिफरेंस है, वी डिफर. व्हेन वी आर सिटिंग फॉर लेक्चर वी आर सिटिंग एंड हियरिंग, व्हेन यू आर वर्किंग वी आर वर्किंग. हम दोनों को मिक्स करने में कई बार मुसीबत हो जाता है. या और इट्स बिकम इंटेलेक्चुअल मोर देन really situated in consciousness. We can hear some lecture and we can by intelligent we can think, okay, Lord is doing this pastime, Lord is doing that pastime, but we are not into that pastime. Through intelligence we are there. Okay, okay, that is also good. And we have to be, through soul we should be in that pastime. The soul's consciousness should merge into that pastime. Then we are perfect. Here, he does not see in the material world someone as higher and someone as lower, because he does not worry about anyone's position, post position, and external appearance or disappearance. He does not worry much, because he does not see material someone is higher. He has nothing to do. For him, even the gold and stone are equal. This is called Brahmabhuta stage. This stage is attained very easily by the pure devotee. In that stage of existence, the idea of becoming one with Supreme Brahman and annihilating one's identity becomes hellish. The idea of attaining the heavenly kingdom becomes a phantasmagoria and a snake like a serpent. This we know that. The shloka of Prabhupada Saraswati. Kaivalya narakayate, akas puspayate. काल सर्वपटली द्वंत विश्वम पूर्ण सुखायते, कीट महेंद्र visukhayate. So like that he is praying that how kaivalya narakayate, the kaivalyam, oneness with the Lord, is naraka, and going to heavenly planet is like a phantasmagoria, means simply akas puspayate. Somebody is throwing the, we never find somebody is throwing the flowers from the sky. So this going to heavenly planet is like a phantasmagoria, means it's simply imagination. I will enjoy, and you will go, and how the time will finish you will don't know. After going, your time will finish actually very very quick. And then snakes. So one who has got Chaitanya Mahaprabhu mercy, these all things happen. He starts feeling like that. Going to heavenly planet is like a phantasmagoria, and becoming one with the Lord is a hellish. And senses, even though they are engaging in any activities, they cannot harm because their teeth are broken. So this is only because of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu mercy. As there is no fear of serpent with broken teeth, there is no fear of from the senses when they are automatically controlled. The world is miserable for materially infected person, but for a devotee, entire world is a Vaikuntha, or the spiritual sky. The highest personality in the material universe is no more significant. These all things we start feeling. The life of devotee, which Prabhupada is mentioning, basically is mentioning about pure devotee. When one comes to the highest advanced stage of chanting the holy names, he will experience all these things. As Rupa Goswami mentioned that right now we are having jaundice. So therefore, we are not able to taste the spiritual happiness. And once one starts experiencing that happiness, he can correlate with his identity. कि अरे मैं हूँ, मैं देख रहा हूँ, मैं experience कर रहा हूँ अपने को. He can feel his identity. Yes. भक्त्या माम अभिजानाति यावन्यश्चास्मि तत्त्वतः ततो माम तत्त्वतो ज्ञात्वा विसुते तद अनंतरम. 1 minute, I will say somebody else to read. हम्म, जीवा जीवा माता जी there, yeah, you can read.
One can understand me as I am, as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, only by devotional service. And when one is in full consciousness of me, by such devotion, he can enter into the kingdom of God.
Hmm. Here, Lord says in previous verse that one will attain the devotional service after one comes to Brahma Bhuta platform. Prabhupada in many lectures has mentioned also, until one is at that stage of Brahma Bhuta, his bhakti is simply a show, basically. Show means it is not like a mango. If you give mango someone, which is a yellow mango, but inside वो कच्चा है, तो कोई बोलेगा अरे ये क्या शो वाला मैंगो लेके आया क्या? मैंगो का सीजन नहीं आया, मैंगो आ गया, शो वाला मैंगो है. तो ब्रह्मभूत मतलब द रियल डिवोटी, व्हेन वी वांट टू से हु इज द रियल डिवोटी इज दिस वन हु इज नो सोचति न कांक्षति. देयरफॉर प्रभुपाद मेंशंस हियर आल्सो दैट एट ब्रह्मभूत स्टेज वन इज विद द सुप्रीम, सेम स्टेज पे है दोनों. One engaged in pure devotional service is just easy. A personalist has to go more further than this stage, but the beginning is this stage. A devotee means he has no material hankering. Then he can render service of the Lord free from all kinds of thinking of any enjoyment, thinking of liberation, thinking of or anything. He is free from all such things. Just therefore, mad bhakti labhate param. One comes to that stage of Brahma Bhuta, then he attains my devotional service. He will attain the bhava bhakti. भाव भक्ति उसको आ जाएगा. करते करते तो भाव में आएगा ये, तब वो भगवान के सेम प्लेटफॉर्म पे आके उनकी सेवा करेगा, सेम प्लेटफॉर्म पे आके. नहीं तो फिर वो सोचती कांक्षी कांक्षी तो वही चलता रहेगा उसका. बिकॉज निष्ठा लेवल तक भी रजोगुण तमोगुण रहता है. रुचि आसक्ति लेवल पे रजोगुण तमोगुण खत्म हो जाता है, तो वो अगला स्टेज भाव ही है. तो भाव स्टेज पे आके इसको ये मिल जाता है, ब्रह्मभूत पे पहुंच जाता है. और उसको भक्ति मतलब जो भक्ति मत भक्ति लभते परा मीन्स चित शक्ति एंड स्वरूप शक्ति एंटर्स इनटू हिज हार्ट, भक्ति, एंड देन ही बिकम्स मैड फॉर कृष्ण, भाव भक्ति. तो ये जो स्टेज है भक्तों के लिए भाव का स्टेज है. तो उससे पहले जो हमारी भक्ति एक प्रैक्टिस वाली भक्ति है, प्रैक्टिस वाली भक्ति है. तो प्रैक्टिस वाली भक्ति में टेस्ट उतना नहीं आएगा, more like a regulated kind of thing bhakti. And so therefore one may talk more about rules and regulations, but actually it has nothing to do with the rules and regulations. One who is a pure devotee can relish bhakti, and one who relishes bhakti, to follow for him rules regulation is very easy. But इसके यहाँ पे थोड़ा अलग है. We also have been given good mercy, like we are eating prasadam and advancing. For jnanis prasadam भी नहीं है उनके लिए तो, so they don't have any enjoyment. Now Krishna is mentioning ahead, Bhaktyamam Abhijanati. Who can know me? Only devotee can know me. This is a quite familiar verse. Yavan yaschatmi tattvataha. Tattvataha he can know. Tattvataha he can know. Tattvataha he can know. Tato mam tattvato gyatva vishate tad anantaram. Then he can enter into my spiritual kingdom. Tato mam tattvato gyatva. Yes, Prabhu.
Prabhu, can you scroll to the translation? Yeah.
Hmm.
So here Prabhupada is writing that when one is in full consciousness of me by such devotion, he can enter into the kingdom of God.
Yes.
So just like a second thought on this, why Prabhupada especially mentioned he can enter into the kingdom of God? Why he's not writing like he can enter into my kingdom? Because when we see previous verses, तो योगी के डेस्टिनेशन और सब में आता था पहले में, Prabhupada would write like ना कि he can attain me without fail. He will enter into my kingdom. But here he's writing he can enter into the kingdom of God. In the same verse, he is saying 2-3 times me, my, me. But यहाँ specifically अलग कर दिया एक, can enter kingdom of God.
ऊपर क्या है, ऊपर ब्रह्म मुक्ति है, तो उसको ब्रह्म नहीं मिलेगा। जब तक भक्ति नहीं लेगा तो भगवान के धाम में नहीं जा सकता, पहला चीज। इवन ब्रह्म मुक्ति के लिए भी भक्ति चाहिए, लेकिन फिर भी भगवान ने उसको हाईलाइट नहीं किया उधर। लेकिन अगर भगवान के धाम में जाना है, इसलिए भगवान ने बोला कि ब्रह्मभूत पे आने के बाद आपको भक्ति मिलेगा, मद भक्ति लभते पराम, मेरी भक्ति मिलेगी, और उस भक्ति से तुम मेरे को तत्वतः जान पाओगे और फिर मेरे धाम में आ पाओगे। ये यहाँ का आइडी कनेक्शन है इसका। क्योंकि बिना भगवान के, इसलिए जो आप श्लोक में जाएंगे भागवतम के, तदा रजस्तमो भावा ज्ञान लोभादयश्च चेत ऐतैरनाविद्धम स्थितम सत्वे प्रसिद्धति। सत्व में आ गया, ये रुचि आसक्ति वाला वर्ष है। तदा रजस्तमो भावा, रज और तमा हट गया, और स्थितम सत्वे प्रसिद्धति, सत्व गुण में मतलब शुद्ध सत्व में आ गया व्यक्ति। उसके बाद अगला श्लोक क्या है, एवं प्रसन्न मनसो भगवत भक्ति योगता भगवत तत्व विज्ञान मुक्त संगस। तो भगवत तत्व विज्ञान उस समय समझ में आ जाता है, जब शुद्ध सत्व में आया तब उसको भगवत तत्व विज्ञान आ जाएगा, मन एकदम प्रसन्न हो जाएगा। उस समय मुक्त संगत से जाए थे, सारे बंधन से मुक्त हो जाएगा वो, मतलब वो भगवान के धाम में जाने के लायक अब हो गया है। ही इज नाउ फ्री टू गो। So it means one has to understand Lord Tattvataha, which he mentions in fourth chapter of जन्म कर्म च मे दिव्यम एवं युति तत्वतः। उधर जो तत्वतः बोला है, यहाँ बताएगा समझेगा कब वो तत्वतः, जब वो ब्रह्मभूत पे आ जाएगा, उसके बाद उसे तत्वतः समझ में आएगा, मेरी भक्ति को ले लेगा, भक्ति देवी जब उसके अंदर प्रवेश करेगी तब वो मेरे चीजों को तत्वतः समझेगा। बिना तत्वतः समझे वो मेरे धाम में नहीं आ सकता। उसे आना है तो तत्व, मुझे मेरे तत्व को समझना ही पड़ेगा कि मैं कौन हूँ, ये सभी जो भी है। सो भगवत तत्व। सो वी आर हियरिंग राइट नाउ, बट द अंडरस्टैंडिंग विल dawn in our heart when we'll attain the Brahma Bhuta platform.
Yeah, that's clear. My question was that Prabhupada writing enter into the kingdom of God and enter into my kingdom. मतलब वो थोड़ा मुझे ऐसी नॉर्मल डाउट था कि there's any specific reason प्रभुपाद ने लिखा enter into the kingdom of God, जबकि ऊपर वो प्रभुपाद भगवान बोल चुके हैं ना कि मी एंड माइन, मतलब go to the translation of that words.
Where is it said me and mine? क्या बोला?
भक्त माम
Unto me.
जनाति.
Unto me is a devotional service you will attain unto me.
No, no, not this. Next verse. 50. भक्त माम जनाति, भक्त माम जनाति.
अच्छा वो।
हाँ.
हम्म
55.
यस।
यहाँ पे इसके ट्रांसलेशन में
हाँ
तो वन कैन अंडरस्टैंड मी एज आई एम एज अ सुप्रीम पर्सनालिटी ऑफ गॉड हेड
हाँ
only by devotion service. And when
हम्म
one is in full consciousness of me by such devotion, he
हम्म,
can enter into the kingdom of God.
हाँ
So he can enter into my kingdom or he attains me. So
ओके ओके
वो
ओके
वैसा
ओके
वैसा क्वेश्चन है, जैसे
ओके
याज्ञ
ओके।
देवा बता देवान है, उसमें बोला
हाँ
कि
हाँ हाँ
अटेन्स माय
हाँ।
किंगडम.
ओके ओके। करेक्ट करेक्ट करेक्ट। सी यस, अटेनिंग कृष्णा और एंटरिंग इनटू कृष्णास किंगडम, अब इसको भी बहुत सारे उसको कैटेगरी बना सकते हैं कि वो डायरेक्टली चतुर्विधा मुक्ति से जा रहा है, या कैसे जा रहा है, पार्षदत्व उसे मिल रहा है, कैसे वो भगवान के किंगडम में जा रहा है भक्त। हम्म, तो उसको और हम समझ सकते हैं, बट यहाँ पे सिंपल कहने का मतलब ये है कि अनलेस वन इज इन फुल कृष्णा कॉन्शियस, वन कैनॉट गो टू किंगडम ऑफ गॉड। And when Krishna says one will attain me, like yanti devrata deva, pitra yanti pitrvata, bhuten yanti bhutejya, मद याजिनो अपिमाम। तो जो मेरे को जो वर्शिप करेगा मेरे पास आ जाएगा। अब उससे क्या समझ में आता है, मेरे पास आ जाएगा। कोई लोग भगवान को डायरेक्टली वर्शिप, वैसे तो इसमें जितने श्लोक बताए हैं, इसमें तीनों लाइन में, उसमें एक पर्सनैलिटी के बारे में बोला है, पितृ देवता कि सबकी पर्सनैलिटी। तो मेरे को जो बोल, मतलब मैं जो खड़ा हूँ जैसे, तो मेरे को जो वर्शिप करेगा मेरे पास आ जाएगा। तो अल्टीमेटली कृष्णा इज सेइंग वन हु डज डिवोशनल सर्विस ही विल कम बैक टू मी, ही इज सेइंग दैट। तो कमिंग बैक टू कृष्णा, कृष्णा हैज अ होम इन किंगडम ऑफ गॉड, इट्स हिज किंगडम। So going to him means he has some place and one has to go to that place. And by how to go? By becoming fully conscious of him, understanding his
Okay,
tattva.
done. Next question, Prabhu. That one.
Yes.
No? Huh.
I'm not able to understand what is there. क्या हो रहा है? Okay.
Basically means my question that कि यहाँ पे प्रभुपाद ने बस the words very cautiously means.
हाँ, तो इसका आप मैं समझ रहा हूँ आप क्या पूछ रहे हो. तो अटेनिंग कृष्णा, अटेनिंग हिज किंगडम इज बोथ आर सेम. वी आर सेम. Both are same only. Only thing there can be difference also when आचार्य will discuss कि इसका मतलब ये है, तो उसमें वो डिफरेंस में डिस्कस किया जा सकता है. बट एक रेगुलर मीनिंग क्या है कि अटेनिंग कृष्णा मीन्स अटेनिंग हिज किंगडम. तो दैट इज व्हाट कृष्णा हियर इज मेंशन कि वन विल कम बैक टू हिम. कृष्णा के पास आ जाएंगे. अभी अंतकाले च मामे स्मरण मुक्ता कलेवरम यह प्रयाति समद्भाम याति नास्यति संशय. उसमें भगवान बोलते हैं कि यू विल अटेन मी. तो अटेन मी मतलब अभी वो भगवान का रिमेम्बरेंस करके भगवान की तरह शरीर पाएगा तो कहाँ रहेगा? भगवान के धाम में ही रहेगा ना. तो वो एक चीज है. उसी की बात हो रही है कि अटेनिंग मी मीन्स ही विल गो टू किंगडम ऑफ गॉड लाइक दैट. यस माता जी.
Sorry, Prabhu. Actually, I read one statement in third canto or second canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. There, Prabhupada is mentioning if devotees are attaining the full conscious, like the bhaktas, some qualities, they can go to Vaikuntha planet. But to go to Krishna, they should require love. So that point maybe matches here. Maybe they can they can attain the kingdom of God in that form of Vaikuntha planets, but it's really required to have a love for the towards Lord to reach Goloka. Somewhere in the third canto, Prabhupada mentioned in the third canto, second canto.
Yes.
This point, maybe here the kingdom means they may reach Vaikuntha planets, but
Oh, again, we are not discussing that one. That's why I mentioned whether he goes to Vaikuntha or Goloka. We're not discussing that one here because ultimately he has to go to kingdom of God. That is also kingdom of God. That is also kingdom of God. दोनों kingdom of God ही है. हाँ?
yes.
And now whether Krishna is speaking for himself personally or he is speaking for Vaikuntha Lord. So let us see the acharyas what they say. They will speak about it in purport. Now Prabhupada said the Supreme Personality of God and Krishna and his plenary portions cannot be understood by mental speculation nor by non-devotees. If anyone wants to understand Supreme Lord, he has to take to pure devotional service under the guidance of pure devotee. Otherwise, the truth of Supreme Lord will always be hidden. Naham Prakasa Sarvasya. He is not revealed to anyone. No one can understand God simply by erudite scholarship or mental speculation. One who is engaged in Krishna consciousness and devotional service can understand what Krishna is. See these words भी आप समझो. देखो इसमें क्या लिखा है. Only one who is engaged in Krishna consciousness and devotional service. दो अलग चीज है ना. Krishna conscious मतलब we are conscious of Krishna. And then with consciousness of Krishna we are engaged in devotional service. One can know what is Krishna. University degree are not helpful. In the similar Bhakti Shastri degree is not helpful. मिल गया तो समझ जाएंगे ऐसा नहीं है. मतलब हमको कृष्णा कॉन्शियस होना पड़ेगा. One who is fully conversant with Krishna science becomes eligible to enter into the spiritual kingdom, the abode of Krishna. Becoming Brahman does not mean that one loses identity. Devotional service is there. As long as devotional service exists, there must be God, the devotee, and the process of devotional service. Such knowledge is never vanquished, even after liberation. Liberation involves getting free from conception of material life. In the spiritual life, the same distinction is there, the same individuality is there, but in the Krishna consciousness but in pure Krishna consciousness. One should not mistakenly think that the word Vishate enters into me, supports the monist theory that he becomes homogeneous with the impersonal Brahman. No. Visate means one can enter into the abode of Supreme Lord in one's individuality to engage in his association and render service unto him. जब आप एक और चीज है कि ब्रह्मभूत when one is ब्रह्मभूता stage and then he attaining bhakti and then going, so here Prabhupada is clearly mentioning that he is not entering into the supreme and finishing of his individuality. No. For instance, a green bird that we know, that green bird story. Impersonalists generally give example of river flowing into the ocean and merging. This may be a source of happiness for the impersonalist, but the personalist keep his personal individuality like an aquatic in the ocean. So aquatic in the ocean is always there, even the ocean size will increase or not. So we find so many living entity within the ocean. If we go deep, surface acquaintance with the ocean is not sufficient. One must have complete knowledge of the aquatics living in the ocean depth. So impersonalists are saying that river mixing with the ocean, now river's existence is finished. Okay, you may say like that, but in the ocean inside, there are so many aquatics. It means there is not only one animal. So many animals are there. It means there are more people than a single God. So there is the existence of individuality. Because of the pure devotional service, devotees can understand transcendental qualities and the opulence of the Supreme Lord in truth. As it is said in the 11th chapter, only by devotional service can one understand. The same is confirmed here. One can understand Supreme Personality of Godhead and enter into His kingdom. After attainment of the Brahmabhuta stage, one's stage from freedom of material conception, devotional service begins by one's hearing about the Lord. आप देखो इसमें क्या लिखा है. सो ये 4:30:20 में भी बताया गया कि आफ्टर अटेनमेंट ऑफ ब्रह्मभूत स्टेज, freedom from material conception, devotional service begins from hearing. When one hears about the Lord, automatically Brahmabhuta state develops and material contamination, greediness and lust for sense enjoyment disappears. तो ये भी एक है और ये भी है. ये ज्ञानियों के लिए है. अगर ज्ञान मार्ग से उसे आगे जाना है तो ये भी है कि पहले वो ब्रह्मभूत स्टेज प्राप्त कर लो और फिर बाद में भगवान की कथा सुनो और आगे जाओ, या सुनते रहो तो वो ब्रह्मभूत स्टेज भी आ जाएगा और आगे वाला स्टेज. दोनों तरीके हैं. ये भक्ति मार्ग है, सुन के पहुंचना, और ये ज्ञान मार्ग है. पहले आप ब्रह्मभूत पे पहुंच जाओ, फिर बाद में भक्ति. As lust and desire disappear from the heart of the devotee, he becomes more attached to the service of the Lord, and by such attachment, he becomes free from material contamination. Okay, what is the now way to become free from material contamination mentioned? Becoming attached to the service of Lord. Okay, it is only for service of the Lord I will use it, not for my own enjoyment. So this is the way, and the such attachment he becomes free from material contamination. In that state of life, he can understand the Supreme Lord. This is a statement of Srimad Bhagavatam also. After liberation, the process of bhakti or the transcendental service continues. Vedanta Sutra confirms apraniyat prayanat tatrapi hi drishtam. This means that after liberation, the process of devotional service continues. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, the real devotional liberation is defined as the reinstatement of the living entity in his own identity. Hitva anatha rupam swarupena vyavastitah. So devotional service continues even after liberation, and it can come even while somebody is in material world. So devotional service is eternal. But Gyan Marga has to finish when a soul attains liberation. Gyan Marga has to be given up. So all other yoga, Gyan Karma, they are temporary. They have a beginning and end. But Bhakti has no beginning and end. It can begin and it can end never. Like it is mentioned. After attaining Bhakti, what happens to that person? Because previous sloka mentioned, Mad Bhakti Labate Param. Giving a particular case of journal rule, the Lord speaks in this verse. By Bhakti alone, one can understand me truly, that me, or me. Thus the Jnana knows me as a Brahman, and the various devotees know me as a Mam Bhagwan. ठीक है. ज्ञान से आप क्या जान पाओगे कि भगवान ब्रह्मन है. ज्ञानी नोज मी एट ब्रह्मन तत्. बट भक्त क्या जानता है? माम, भगवान की तरफ. सिंस आई हैव सेड दैट ओनली बाय प्योर डिवो भक्ति am I known, bhaktyam ekya grahya. Then the jnani under discussion after that tad anantaram, by that bhakti alone which functions after the cessation of vidya, knowing me enters me. He realizes the happiness of merging with me, sayujya. That the meaning is that since I am the beyond Maya and Vidya is a part of Maya, I, even in the form of Brahman, cannot be known by Vidya. So, as I mentioned, ब्रह्मभूत पे आने के बाद भगवान, अगर उसको सायुज्य भी चाहिए तो भक्ति तो चाहिए. ज्ञान मार्ग में भी भक्ति चाहिए आपको. तभी आपको ब्रह्म मुक्ति मिलेगा, नहीं तो मुक्ति भूल जाओ। तो हियर विश्वनाथ ठाकुर इज मेंशनिंग that after coming to Brahmabhuta stage, Mad Bhakti Labate Param, the Lord is saying, means he will get bhakti and then he will merge into Brahman. Okay, that is one thing. Those who are aspiring for Brahma Mukti, he will merge into Brahman. But to think that I have lost my identity, ये पागलपन है, ये नहीं है, ऐसा नहीं होता है। मैं मर्ज हो जाऊंगा ब्रह्मन में, वो ठीक है, ब्रह्म मुक्ति इज देयर, बट अपने को नाश कर देना वो नहीं है। निर्वाण जैसे बोलते, निर्वाण मीन्स फिनिशिंग, निर्वाण का कोई मतलब नहीं है। Sometimes Brahma Nirvana, even second chapter uses. So Prabhupada uses that Brahma Nirvana means going to a spiritual world. So they may use the word in for different purposes, but to finishing, like Buddhist they say zero, शून्यवाद means निर्वाण हो जाना, तो वो तो एग्जिस्ट ही नहीं करता है, you cannot be finished. So the first proper philosophy is what? At least one is be able to merge into the light of the Lord, or the light coming from the body of the Lord. That is Brahma Mukti. But it does not mean that he becomes one with the Lord. So for that also one has to get free from Maya. ब्रह्म मुक्ति के लिए माया से मुक्त होना चाहिए, मतलब ज्ञान मार्ग छोड़ देना है उसको, और फिर उसको थोड़ा भक्ति चाहिए और उससे चला जाएगा। और फॉर भक्ता के लिए क्या है? तो भक्त के लिए अगला श्लोक, भक्त्या मम अभिजानाति यावन यश्चात्मे तत्वतः ततो माम तत्वतो ज्ञात्वा विस्तृत अनंतरम, मतलब भक्त मेरे को तत्वतः जान जाएगा। इसमें तो केवल भगवान को ब्रह्मन नहीं समझ पाएगा, बस उससे ज्यादा नहीं समझ पाएगा ज्ञानी, लेकिन इसमें तत्वतः जान पाएगा शुद्ध भक्त के संग में, और फिर वो भगवान के धाम जाएगा। Now, bhakti is thus said to be the function of vidya in this verse. However, this actually means some small portion of haladini sakti or bhakti enters into vidya in order to give vidya its result. Just as bhakti also enters into karma yoga and in order to give the result of karma. समझ में आ रहा है अभी क्या हो रहा है इसमें? तो कुछ पोर्शन भक्ति का विद्या से क्या पता लग गया, मैं ब्राह्मण हूं, ठीक है, उसके बाद विद्या को छोड़ना पड़ेगा क्योंकि उसको अगर आगे जाना है, मुक्ति चाहिए तो अब हलादिनी शक्ति का कुछ पोर्शन आएगा, उसको भक्ति देगा, क्योंकि अभी ज्ञान मार्ग को कंप्लीट करना है, तो कंप्लीट करने के लिए कोई भी मार्ग को भक्ति चाहिए। द सॉल्ट ऑफ भक्ति इज ऑलवेज रिक्वायर्ड फॉर द कंप्लीशन ऑफ एनी योगा। दैट सॉल्ट ऑफ भक्ति विल कम, इट विल मिक्स, और इट विल नेवर, इट विल बी देयर, भक्ति को मिक्स नहीं होगी, और फिर उसके बाद उसके कारण से वो ब्रह्म मुक्ति मिल जाएगा। तो कर्मों के लिए भी बताया गया कि कर्म के लिए भी हमें पता है कि इवन कर्म योग को भी भक्ति चाहिए, तभी उसको उसका परफेक्शन मिलेगा। तो दैट आल्सो इज मेंशन, कर्म योग मींस द फ्रीडम फ्रॉम रिजल्ट ऑफ वंस एक्टिविटी एंड अवेकनिंग ऑफ नॉलेज आल्सो रिक्वायर सम भक्ति, देयरफॉर हलादिनी शक्ति कम्स एंड मिक्सेस देयर, लाइक इट इज मेंशन हलादिनी शक्ति इज अ फंक्शन ऑफ विद्या। इज मेंशन फंक्शन ऑफ विद्या क्या होता है कि किसी को ब्रह्मभूत रियलाइज करा देना, और बाद में मर्ज होना। तो मर्ज होना विद्या नहीं करा सकते, क्योंकि विद्या तो माया है, माया की दो शक्ति है, विद्या अविद्या। तो माया कैन नॉट टेक वन टू स्पिरिचुअल वर्ल्ड, माया हैज टू लिव हियर ओनली, माया का फंक्शन यहीं पे खत्म हो जाता है। अभी दूसरी चीज उसको लेके जाने वाली, वो भक्ति, भक्ति उसको लेके जाएगी उस आत्मा को और ब्रह्मन में मर्ज कर देगी। और इस संसार में अगर किसी को कर्म से मुक्ति भी चाहिए और वो भक्त, तो फिर कर्म योग करने के बाद उसके रिएक्शन से मुक्ति चाहिए, तो वो भी भक्ति करा के देगा। तो भक्ति को आना पड़ेगा और उसमें मिक्स होके उसको देना पड़ेगा, फ्रीडम फ्रॉम रिजल्ट। Just as bhakti also enters in karma yoga in order to give the result of karma, this can be said that because there are many statements. So see, result of karma, sometimes people do karma yoga, like भगवान को, विष्णु को वर्शिप करते हैं तो सकाम कर्म योग करते हैं, तो भगवान उनको कुछ दे भी देते हैं, तो उसमें भी भक्ति चाहिए, तो भगवान अपनी भक्ति के द्वारा उसको कंप्लीट कर देते हैं, थोड़ी भक्ति उसमें मिक्स करके, दैट रिजल्ट ऑफ कर्मा कैन बी ऑब्टेन्ड। Okay, that result can be freedom from reactions, or that can be also some भौतिक चीजें हो सकती है। जैसे कभी कभी भगवान कई लोग को कुछ बोलते हैं कुछ करने को, जैसे एग्जाम्पल है, दिस अदिति परफॉर्म पयोव्रता यज्ञ। Now it's not that she was doing pure devotional service, She had certain intention to kill Indra, and so therefore she went up to her husband. Husband said, "You do this bhakti." So उसमें क्या है, वो कर्म, कुछ इच्छा है पाने की, तो वो करूंगी तो वो भक्ति का प्रोसेस में कुछ मिल जाएगा। तो ये भक्ति कर्म मिश्र भक्ति जैसा हो गया। तो इसमें भक्ति मिक्स है, प्योर भक्ति नहीं है। ठीक है। तो ये जो पाथ है जिसमें कर्म योग के भी कुछ रिजल्ट पाते हैं लोग, या ज्ञान योग का रिजल्ट, उसमें भक्ति तो चाहिए ही चाहिए, नहीं तो फुलफिल नहीं होगा वो। दिस कैन बी सेड because there are many statements saying that karma, jnana, yoga and other processes are just useless labor without bhakti. Since the nirguna bhakti is not functional, is not a function of vidya filled with satguna. Though vidya is the cause of extinguishing avidya, the cause of knowledge of that tat is bhakti alone. Cause of knowledge of the tat means ये वाला, भगवान के बारे में आप जान पाओगे कुछ भी, ब्रह्मन भी जानना कि भगवान ब्रह्मन है या भगवान भगवान है, इसको भक्ति ही चाहिए। इसको आप मटेरियल नॉलेज से नहीं जान सकते, विद्या पोटेंसी से नहीं जान सकते। अ सोल कैन नेवर अंडरस्टैंड अबाउट गॉड और परम सत्य, दैट परम सत्य इज ब्रह्मन और ही इज अ सुप्रीम गॉड और ही इज अ परमात्मा विदाउट द हेल्प ऑफ भक्ति। भक्ति चाहिए, यानी भगवान को समझने के लिए, परम सत्य को समझने के लिए भक्ति चाहिए ही चाहिए। और वो निर्गुणी भक्ति अविद्या पोटेंसी की के अंडर नहीं आती है, जो यहाँ पे बात हो रहा है। भक्ति इज नॉट अ फंक्शन ऑफ विद्या filled with satguna, तो विद्या इज filled with satguna। ठीक है। दो विद्या इज द कॉज ऑफ एक्सटिंग्विशिंग अविद्या, द कॉज ऑफ नॉलेज ऑफ दैट तत्व, तत् मीन्स ब्रह्मन, इज द भक्ति अलोन। मोreover the स्मृति से सत्वम संजायते ज्ञानम, सत्व गिव राइज टू ज्ञान, 14:17। नॉलेज विच अराइजेस फ्रॉम सत्वा इज कॉल्ड सत्वा। Just as the sattva includes vidya, so the knowledge arising from bhakti is often called bhakti. Sometimes it is called bhakti and other times it is called jnana. Therefore, one should see that there are two types of knowledge. Giving up the first type of knowledge, sattva, and by the second type of knowledge, bhakti, one will attain Brahma Sayujya. This is understood by consulting Bhagavatam 11th, 25th chapter. समझ में आ रहा है ना? तो एक विद्या क्या है? एक अपना खुद का, कि मैं अहम ब्रह्मास्मि, मैं ब्रह्मन हूं। अच्छा, क्या मुझको समझने के लिए भक्ति चाहिए? क्या नहीं, हमको समझने के लिए भक्ति नहीं चाहिए, भगवान को समझने के लिए भक्ति चाहिए। ये समझना कि मैं ब्राह्मण हूं, इसको आप ज्ञान मार्ग से समझ सकते हो, जो कि बताया गया है कि विद्या के द्वारा आप समझ जाओगे कि मैं आत्मा हूं, इतना समझ जाएगा। लेकिन भगवान, वो ब्राह्मण में मर्ज करना है, वो ब्राह्मण मेरे को जाना है, परम सत्य ब्राह्मण है, वो उनकी आभा है, तो उसके लिए भक्ति ही चाहिए। यानी भगवान को समझना बिना भक्ति के पॉसिबल ही नहीं है, ये समझना है। एग्जाम्पल एक आचार्य भी देते हैं, जैसे एक छोटे दिया से आप पूरे नाइट को खत्म नहीं कर सकते, तो आत्मा अपनी जितनी भी शक्ति लगा ले, वो छोटा दिया की तरह है। उसको भक्ति, मतलब भक्ति रूपी सूरज की रोशनी चाहिए ही चाहिए। भक्ति और भगवान में अंतर नहीं है, क्योंकि भगवान का हमने पहले भी पढ़ा था कि जो शरीर है भगवान स्वरूप शक्ति, और भक्ति में कोई अंतर नहीं है, उनका जो स्वरूप है और भक्ति में। सो लॉर्ड्स इज नॉन डिफरेंट फ्रॉम भक्ति। Lord is therefore he becomes attracted, like somebody becoming attracted to one's child because he is born from the same body. तो उसी तरह भगवान के स्वरूप शक्ति, जो उनका खुद का स्वरूप है, उसी उनका स्वरूप शक्ति भक्ति है। तो जो भी वो स्वरूप शक्ति से मैचिंग दिखता है, अरे भक्ति कर रहा है, तो भगवान उसे अटैच हो जाते हैं। जैसे कोई अपने बच्चों से अटैच होता है, फैमिली से अटैच हो जाता है, बिकॉज इज बॉर्न फ्रॉम सेम बॉडी। सो लाइक दैट, सो लॉर्ड हैज अ स्वरूप शक्ति विच इज अ सिंपली भक्ति, internal potency, and so whenever he sees the presence of some internal potency anywhere, he becomes attracted. So Lord can only be understood by bhakti, bhaktyamam abhijanati. So there are two kind of knowledge, one is born in satguna and one is born from bhakti. So satguna वाला मतलब ये वाला है material modes, या माया शक्ति, एंड देन सेकेंड नॉलेज इज भक्ति, हलादिनी शक्ति। तो इसमें दोनों शक्ति मिक्स हो रही है। कौन सी? एक इंटरनल पोटेंसी, एक एक्सटर्नल पोटेंसी। तो अगर भगवान को समझना है, एक्सटर्नल पोटेंसी छोड़ना पड़ेगा, इंटरनल पोटेंसी का शेल्टर लेना पड़ेगा। इसलिए भगवान बोलते हैं ना, उधर ही बोलते हैं देवी हेषा गुणमयी मम माया दुरत्या मामेव प्रपद्यन्ते माया मेताम तरन्ते देवी से महात्मा नास्तु माम पार्थ दैवीम प्रकृति आश्रिता। महात्मा जो होते हैं दैवीम प्रकृति, ये दैवीम कौन सी और वो वाला दैवीम कौन सी? एक दैवी शक्ति है भगवान की महामाया, और एक दूसरी शक्ति दैवी कौन सी शक्ति है? योग माया और इंटरनल पोटेंसी। सो महात्मा जो होते हैं ये वाली शक्ति का शेल्टर नहीं लेते, उस शक्ति का लेते, भक्ति वाली। ओके। There are others who, knowing that one cannot attain liberation by jnana alone without bhakti, practice jnana mixed with bhakti. But they consider that form of Bhagavan is as a falsity, upadhi, created by Maya, and consider that the body of the Lord is made up of gunas. Reaching the stage of yoga rudha, they think themselves liberated. They too are condemned. तो ये जो लोग, ये तो फालतू के लोग हैं, मतलब ये तो इनके तो ब्रह्म सायुज्य भी नहीं मिलेगा इन्हें। जिनको कंसेप्शन ही जिनका रॉन्ग है उनको नहीं मिल सकता। ये दिस थिंग वी शुड वेरी मच क्लियर। If somebody is Mayavadi, will never attain Brahma Mukti. He will fall down. He will become tree in the next life because he is offending the Lord. Brahmavadi can attain the Brahma Mukti because he is not thinking that I will become the Lord. I am going to merge into the sky, Brahman. And that Param Satya is nothing but Brahman only. So he is thinking I am not going to become like him. He is just thinking I am going to merge there. Just I want to be there. अच्छे से वहीं पे रहना है, हमेशा वहाँ शांति में रहना है। So that is in Bhagavatam and in Vedic literature, there are many processes are spoken to attain Brahma Mukti. One process is mentioned through yoga by which one sees Paramatma inside heart, and then he still desires that I want to attain Brahma Sayuj. Then he withdraws his mind from Paramatma's vision and he desires to attain Brahma Mukti because his guru was Brahma Mukti वाला गुरु होगा उसका, तो उसको कोई पर्सनल फॉर्म के बारे में इंफॉर्मेशन ज्यादा नहीं होगा, बट फिर भी एडवांस करते करते उसने भगवान का फॉर्म भी देखा और फिर भी वो गया कहाँ? ब्रह्म मुक्ति में। This is one way to attain Brahma Mukti. Another is by this what is mentioned. Without seeing the form also one can directly attain the Brahma Mukti with some bhakti. Bhakti is important. And there is also ahankaropasana, means considering aham brahmasmi, I am that. This kind of practice also people do. So that will take them to further advanced stage of knowing oneself as Brahman. The word Mayam in the Svetasvatara Upanishad verse refers to the Chit Sakti arising from Sarup of the Lord, not to the Sakti of the three guna, which does not arise from his Sarupa. This means the meaning would be, no, this Chit Sakti and the great Lord, who is the master of this Sakti, they do not consider this meaning of Shruti statements, nor do consider the statement Durga is the Maya, Shiva is the possessor of Maya. So, okay. तो ये समझ लेना कि ये जो शक्ति है, अतो मायामयम विष्णुम प्रवदंती सनातनम, तो माया में यहाँ पे बोला गया है किसका है? मतलब ये चित शक्ति मेंशन है। चित शक्ति माया की शक्ति नहीं है, महामाया की नहीं है, वो योग माया की शक्ति है या अंतरंग माया की शक्ति है। हाँ, हियर इट्स मेंशन the Jivan Mukta, if they are offender of the Lord of inconceivable great Shakti, again enter into illusion of संसार। देखिए यहाँ मेंशन है, कोई जीवन मुक्त हो भी गया लेकिन उसने भगवान को ऑफेंड कर दिया कि मैं और भगवान एक ही हैं, भगवान का शरीर माया का है, वो ये भी अभी भी यही सोच रहा है कि भाई हम सभी माया के बने हैं। तो जीवन मुक्ता अपि पुनर्यांति संसार वासनाम यदि अचिंत्य महाशक्तो भगवती अपराधीन, भगवान के प्रति अपराध कर दिया अचिंत महाशक्ति, द लॉर्ड ऑफ इनकंसीवेबल एनर्जी, तो वो दोबारा कहाँ घुस जाएगा? पुनर्यांति संसार वासना, पूरा संसार वासना दोबारा उसके अंदर डेवलप हो जाएगा। Attaining their goal, they think the sadhana is no longer proper, and thus at the time of rejection of jnana, they reject not only jnana but also gunibhut bhakti. The small amount of bhakti they perform along with the jnana and sadhana. तो ये जो गुणीभूत भक्ति, मैंने पहले भी डिस्कस किया इसके बारे में, प्रधानीभूत गुणीभूत भक्ति। गुणीभूत भक्ति मतलब क्या है? प्रधानीभूत एंड गुणीभूत भक्ति दोनों में डिफरेंस ये क्या है? तो गुणीभूत भक्ति में बेसिकली द भक्ति इज सेकेंडरी टोटली, ठीक है, एंड द पर्सन is just taking help of bhakti to attain his goal. Understanding, that is Gunibhut Bhakti. Pradhanibhut Bhakti means what? He understands Lord is my master. I am surrendered to Lord, but still I have some desires. And if Lord may want to fulfill, then it's his desire. He has some desire, but he accepts Lord only as his master. और उसमें क्या है गुणीभूत में, एज अ फॉर्मेलिटी, ओ मेरे को कुछ चाहिए तो करना पड़ेगा भगवान को, ठीक है कर देते हैं थोड़ा, तो फॉर्मेलिटी वाला है वो। हम्म, तो वो गुणीभूत भक्ति है। तो ये जो ज्ञानी होते हैं, इनके अंदर थोड़ी गुणीभूत भक्ति लेके चलते हैं अपनी ज्ञान साधना में, लेकिन उसको भी ये त्याग देता है, तो फिर उसको तो मिलेगा ही नहीं कुछ भी। उसको ज्ञान वाला पोर्शन त्यागना है, गुणीभूत भक्ति नहीं त्यागना है। थिंकिंग दैट द टेंजिबल रियलाइजेशन ऑफ द फॉर्म एंड क्वालिटी इज फॉल्स। After bhakti disappears along with jnana because of offense of the form of the Lord, it cannot again be attained. Because they cannot realize tat without bhakti. They are therefore known only as person who thinks they are liberated, having only the false samadhi. And इसी को बोला गया ये अन्य रविंदाक्ष विमुक्त मानिनस तो अष्टभावत अभिशुद्ध बुद्धया, ये वाले लोग हैं जिसने गुणीभूत भक्ति को भी त्याग दिया ज्ञान के साथ। But those who practice jnana mixed with bhakti and at the same time respect the सच्चिद आनंद form of the भगवान, देखो भगवान के सच्चिद आनंद फॉर्म को रेस्पेक्ट करते, ग्रेजुअली विद द सेसेशन ऑफ विद्या एंड अविद्या अटेन पराभक्ति। अगर विद्या विद्या दोनों निकल गया तो पराभक्ति। दोज लिबरेटेड सोल्स आर ऑफ टू टाइप, वन टाइप परफॉर्मिंग भक्ति फॉर ऑब्टेनिंग सायुज्य, अटेन सायुज्य इन द लॉर्ड्स फॉर्म रियलाइजिंग तत्, these persons are praiseworthy। तो अब इसमें क्या बताया जा रहा है कि दो तरह के ज्ञानी होते हैं। पहला, एक तो ये तो ऑफेंडर वाला तो पहले गिर गया, ये तो बस विमुक्त मानिनस, ये बस मानता है कि मैं विमुक्त हो गया हूं लेकिन विमुक्त हुआ नहीं है, ठीक है, क्योंकि ये ऑफेंडर है, ये भगवान के फॉर्म को ऑफेंड करता है, भगवान का फॉर्म माया का है, मैं भगवान बन जाऊंगा, ये सब सोचता रहता है, ठीक है। अब इसमें क्या है, ये भगवान के फॉर्म को रेस्पेक्ट करता है, सच्चिद आनंद फॉर्म ऑफ ही रेस्पेक्ट्स, ही अंडरस्टैंड गॉड हैज अ फॉर्म, और भगवान परम सत्य का सच्चिदानंद फॉर्म है, ठीक है, और भगवान ग्रेजुअली विद सेसेशन ऑफ विद्या एंड विद्या अटेन्स पराभक्ति। मतलब क्या, इसको फॉर्म के बारे में पता है, इसको पता है कि भगवान का फॉर्म है सच्चिदानंद फॉर्म, इसको पता ही नहीं, या उसको वो मानना ही नहीं चाहता है, तो ये इसका तो कुछ होगा ही नहीं, ये तो पहले गिर जाएगा। इसका क्या होगा, इसमें दो तरह के आत्मा है, एक को सायुज्य चाहिए फिर भी उसको मर्ज होना है भगवान के शरीर में, तो मर्ज हो जाएगा, जानता है कि भगवान का शरीर है और मैं मर्ज होना चाहता हूं तो मर्ज हो जाएगा, ठीक है, तो इसको प्रेजवर्दी बोला गया है। द अदर टाइप ऑफ पर्सन लाइक सुखदेव गोस्वामी बीइंग ग्रेटली फॉर्च्यून गिव्स अप द डिजायर फॉर लिबरेशन बाय इन्फ्लुएंस ऑफ अनप्रिडिक्टेड एसोसिएशन विद kind elevated devotees and submerges himself completely in the taste of sweetness of भक्ति रसा। दूसरा भक्ति बताया गया है, वो जो ज्ञानी जो सुखदेव गोस्वामी तो भक्त बन गए बाद में, पहले इम्पर्सनलिस्ट जैसे थे, तो वो भगवान के फॉर्म को मानते थे, लेकिन उनको सायुज्य मुक्ति नहीं चाहिए, उससे बदल के उन्होंने भक्तों का संग लेके उससे एडवांस होके अब वो भगवान की सेवा करना चाहते, तो ये दूसरे तरह के ज्ञानी हो गए। आत्मा रामाश्च मुनियो निर्घंते उरुक्रम, ये सिर्फ मेंशन। This verse explains the condition. By supreme pure bhakti to me, he realizes abhijanati to me, to what extent yaman I exist. Yes, okay, ठीक है। ठीक है, विशेषतः when a person enters into city, it is perceived that he merges into the city. However, he does not become the city. This is the usage of the word विशेषतः to enter. Enter का मतलब सिटी के अंदर एंटर किया, ना कि सिटी बन गया वो, ठीक है, ये इसलिए वर्ड यूज किया है। भगवान में एंटर किया मतलब भगवान के धाम में एंटर किया, ये नहीं कि भगवान ही बन गया वो। It should be understood that what is stated here is that bhakti alone is the cause of both realizing the Lord in truth and joining him. This is understood from the previous statement, bhaktya tu ananya sakhya. Tad anantaram means after that. Therefore, the statement means having truly realizing my form, qualities and vibhutis, only after that he joins me. भगवान के चीजों को तत्वतः समझने के बाद ही वो मेरे धाम में आएगा, मैं किसी का एंट्री फोकट में नहीं लेता हूं। किसी ने ज्यादा पैसा दे दिया उसको कॉलेज में डाल दिया, वैसा मैं नहीं करता हूं, भगवान बोल रहे हैं पहले मेरे फॉर्म क्वालिटी विभूति सबको जो समझ जाएगा, देन तद अनंतरम, समझने के बाद वो मेरे को आएगा मेरे पास। और तद अनंतरम कैन मीन टेकिंग दैट भक्ति अलोन, केवल भक्ति को लेके, बाय द रूल ऑफ ल्याब लोप कर्मणि पंचमी, ये अपना पाणिनि का ग्रामर है, ठीक है, ओके, हाँ, द omitted word अविद्या, ओके, ठीक है, द अंडरस्टैंडिंग मी इन द ट्रूथ बाय प्योर भक्ति, टेकिंग दैट भक्ति अलोन ही ज्वाइंस मी। सो दूसरा इसका क्या मतलब है कि भक्ति को ही लेके वो मेरे को ज्वाइन कर जाता है, मतलब मेरे पास आ सकता है केवल भक्ति को, या पहले आप समझ जाओ सब कुछ तब मेरे पास आओ, नहीं तो आपके पास भक्ति है तो उसके साथ आप पहुंच सकते हो, भक्ति नहीं है तो कभी नहीं पहुंच सकता। So like that both are mentioned here. So it's a deep study. So summarizing everything here, uh, it's a big purport by all acharyas given here. Visatita Anantaram. So there is a jnana, there is a avidya and vidya portion in Maya Sakti. Okay? So vidya portion helps a living entity to know that he is a Atma, Brahman. But beyond that, it cannot help to know the Param Sattva as a Brahman or Param Brahman. वो जानने में मदद नहीं कर सकता, भगवान को समझने में, परम सत्य को समझने के लिए माया नहीं हेल्प कर सकती। फॉर दैट भक्ति इज रिक्वायर्ड। सो देयरफॉर लॉर्ड मेंशंस previous shloka, once you attain brahma bhuta stage, means you know that you are brahman and you are not kanchati, no not sochati, then bhakti comes. In previous shloka says bhakti comes, mad bhakti labate param, then chit shakti aati hai, and then that chit shakti helps the person to know the Lord's qualities, pastimes in perfect way. After knowing those, he bisate tat anantaram, he goes to spiritual world. तो प्रोसेस बताया, पहले ब्रह्मभूत, फिर बाद में भक्ति लेके सब कुछ जान लिया, फिर बाद में मेरे धाम में आ गया, ठीक है, ये बताया। तो भक्ति ही मदद कर रहा है व्यक्ति को जानने के लिए भगवान के बारे में, भगवान के पास टाइम को जानने के लिए, बाकी सब चीज नहीं। जैसे हम आज भी समझते, कभी कभी किसी का इंटेलिजेंस अच्छा है, ज्यादा श्लोक याद कर लेता है, अरे श्लोक तुम 1000 याद कर लो, तुम्हें भगवान समझ में नहीं आने वाले। क्यों? वो केवल भक्ति समझा सकती है। तो अभी के स्टेज में भी समझो या बाद के स्टेज में भी सेम ही चीज हमें समझना है। अगर जो जितना भगवान के बारे में समझता है, मतलब वो भक्ति ही समझा सकती है, बाकी सब वो नॉलेज के रूप में कोई दिमाग में रखेगा, लेकिन वो समझ में उसे नहीं आ सकता, क्योंकि माया शक्ति कुछ आपको नहीं समझा सकती है। माया समझी इतना केवल सिखा सकती है कि वी आर नॉट दिस बॉडी, वी आर द सोल। तो विद्या के द्वारा हम इतना समझ में आते हैं सतगुण में कि मैं आत्मा हूँ, लेकिन भगवान को समझना, उनको रियलाइज करना, उसके लिए भक्ति ही चाहिए। Okay, it's a long purport, and we could do till 54. Any question? तो आपका कोर्स तो एकदम लंबा होता जा रहा है। It is a non-ending, but it is important to learn, na? Otherwise, when we'll pass and then go to Bhagavatam, then these philosophy what we are discussing, na, these are also there in Bhagavatam. So ये pre-study हो गया एक तरीके से। गुणीभूत भक्ति, प्रधानीभूत भक्ति, and this Vishatita Anantaram, Brahma Bhuta Prasanna Atma. So it's not that there is no Brahma Sayujya, there is a Brahma Sayujya, but that is for right kind of consciousness should be there. They should respect the form of the Lord. Even those who go into Sayujya Mukti, they must respect the form of the Lord. Then only they will get, otherwise they will not get. If somebody says the Lord has no form, then he cannot get, because he is thinking from Vidya potency of this Maya. Unless he gets Bhakti, he cannot understand that Lord is a form. And even after understanding Lord is a form, because he has not got purified from that Brahman conception, he has not met some devotee, so he will attain Brahma Sayujya. थोड़ा भक्ति लेके चला गया। अगर वो थोड़ा वेट कर लेता, किसी भक्त से मिल जाता जैसे सुखदेव गोस्वामी, तो देन ही विल अटेन किंगडम ऑफ गॉड। तो ये अंतर है, हाँ? ये समझना आप। तो जैसा गुरु हमें मिलता है, जैसा गुरु हमें श्रद्धा देते हैं, अगर वो ज्ञान श्रद्धा दे रहे, कर्म श्रद्धा दे रहे, योग श्रद्धा दे रहे या भक्ति श्रद्धा दे रहे, वैसा, इसीलिए गुरु को क्यों इंपॉर्टेंट माना जाता है, क्योंकि स्पिरिचुअल लाइफ का डेस्टिनेशन गुरु से होता है। मटेरियल लाइफ का डेस्टिनेशन हमारे कर्मों से हो सकता है, लेकिन गुरु चाहिए स्पिरिचुअल लाइफ के लिए। दैट्स व्हाई वन नीड्स अ वैष्णव गुरु, सो दैट वन कैन गो टू कृष्ण लोक। Otherwise, one gets a Jnani Guru, then he will only go to Brahma Sayujya. Faith. Even after mixing of bhakti, one cannot change one's destination unless he changes his Guru. He has to change his faith. Okay, we'll end here. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So tomorrow, continuation will happen from 55. Enough. 55 flow. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai. Hare Krishna.